All right, what's up, guys? Mike Level is good. In this episode, I'm going to give you a little tidbit that is going to make you a Flow Dynamics Pro monster. All right, so in technical analysis, basically, what are we doing, right? We're getting the trend, we're seeing the strength of the trend, we want to know where our decision points are, right? That's all technical analysis is really. It's just finding out where we're at in the auction and where we need to make a decision. I mean, that's really all that trading is where can I capitalize on one of these big pivots? If we would have caught that pivot here and then knew that price was going to pivot here and pivot here and pivot here and pivot here, pivot here, pivot here, that's all technical analysis is. It's getting an edge on the competition of seeing where I might be thinking about making a decision about a strong pivot. Now, Flow Dynamics Pro, what that does is it gives you these areas where you should be thinking about making a decision. I call them my decision boxes. So, for example, right here, right? We can see here we have the SFP, and now we're wondering, okay, are we going to go up and clear that level? So I'm going to go down to a little bit of a lower time frame. And as you can see here, now my Flow Dynamics Pro is ranking these based on all the things that have gone into the indicators. And Lev has worked his ass off on this indicator. And this is built by real traders, right? Specifically designed. He asked me, what are you using to find your analysis? What are you using? Are you using VWAP? Are you using moving averages? Are you using liquidity levels? Are you using the books from Binance? Everything has been specially formulated to come to give you these decision boxes, right? Now, this is a prediction tool. It isn't an outcome tool. So let's say this. I have my little Flow Dynamics Pro area here, right? So what am I looking for here? Well, here is where I'm looking for an entry trigger. Now, this is what's going to take you from Chart Nation's rookie to Chart Nation's beast. Now, in these decision areas, what do I need to take a trade? I want to take you to the anatomy of what you need to take a trade. There's three things I need to take a trade. I need a trigger. A trigger gives me an invalidation, it gives me a reason, and it gives me a target. Notice the first thing that I needed was to measure my risk. So let's take through my favorite entry triggers. One of my favorite entry triggers is the swing failure pattern. Now, typically a swing failure pattern is going to be when your Flow Dynamics Pro is giving you a signal that's above some kind of liquidity level, right? This is 5-minute liquidity, but the Flow Dynamics Pro is reading all different time frames, so it's giving you this. So let's say I'm gauging this as a liquidity level. This would be a liquidity trade, right? So what do we know about our SFP, right? We see price go through a significant level and quickly come back below. It closes from a 1 to 3 to 5-minute candle. And what does that give us? That gives us our stop loss invalidation. That's my checkbox 1. Check, got my first part, right? Now, my reason is also going to be in that SFP, right? I have a valid low time frame SFP, which gives me my stop loss. Now, if we did SFP it and it is a true SFP, then that is also my reason because we have taken liquidity. There's nothing more to do up here. Remember that price is always trying to go somewhere to do something, and your triggers will give you an confirmation on if that was done. So then maybe if I was conservative, I would wait for my third entry trigger, which would be a market structure change, right? So this is basically like how an auction works. I come on up, I take some liquidity. I'm not too shaky. I feel like the RSIs or whatever I'm using for my indicators aren't really there. So maybe I just want to see if price wants to make another attempt and fails. Okay, now that is 2 entry triggers because that's a valid SFP that gives me my stop loss invalidation, and that is showing me low time frame weakness, right? And this all has to be done with your Flow Dynamics Pro because this is showing you your decision zones. So after that, I got my stop loss, I got my market structure change. Another entry trigger that I have is the failed auction. Now, the failed auction is basically like an SFP, but an SFP comes up and it takes liquidity and closes below. Well, sometimes the market needs more. So what it'll do, it'll trade above the level and it'll generate that liquidity and then it'll dip below. Now, a failed auction is more powerful than an SFP because as we've gone up there and we've traded sideways, What we've done is we've trapped traders, and then when we close below, we've built up resistance. Be on the lookout for those 3 entry triggers at your decision zones of your Flow Dynamics Pro. Remember, we're going to make you expert traders, guiding you through everything. Probably have a little bit of a workshop on this coming up, but just wanted to drop that one real quick. Happy trading. Be safe out there. Always use confirmation, and I'll see you next time.